I hear this question a lot from new engineers, those who are learning how to mix music to eventually make a career from it. Should I start out mixing people's music for free? It's kind of a sensitive topic. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 situations when you should consider mixing people's music for free. Hey everyone, Joe here. Starting out as a mixing engineer is difficult, especially if you want to make money for your work. It takes a long time to learn, and there's probably not going to be a specific point in time where you feel like, okay, suddenly I'm good enough, now I can start charging. Once you start getting some good feedback, it will boost your confidence, and then you'll probably want to think about charging on a kind of sliding scale that increases as you get better. But before you reach that point, should you ever give away your skills for free? Well, the general consensus among established engineers is a resounding no. There's a popular video from legendary producer Tony Maserati. I'll link that in the description below on why you should never do free mixes for anyone. But I'm here to give you the 3 situations where I think it's okay to mix for free. Number 1, you have no portfolio. You need a portfolio, period. Okay? If you don't have a portfolio of mixes, of your best work, that you want to be offering out to customers on your website, or if you send them over when they inquire, then you're not going to be able to get work. Simple as that. If I ever wanted to look for an assistant for editing or mixing, if they didn't have anything that I could listen to, so I know what kind of work they could produce, I wouldn't even bother taking it any further, especially if there was a lot of choice out there, which there are going to be for artists looking for a mixing engineer. If you have no portfolio, you're not going to be able to get anywhere. So you've got a few options. You can download multi-tracks online and mix those, or you can make your own music, record at home and mix that, and then you can put those in your portfolio. And those are great options, and a lot of people do that. With my portfolio, I started off recording my own music and mixing that. But the thing is, with the multi-tracks, a lot of people will have heard these before, either because they're on a lot of mixing engineers' portfolios, or because they're from established artists. There's also a limited supply and you have to go hunting for it. So if you want to build up a big portfolio fast, then offering out a couple of free mixes, it doesn't even have to be under your name. If you're worried about sort of setting yourself up as somebody who just does free work for everyone, and you feel that's going to make it harder to eventually charge, you don't have to worry about making it sort of overly public, like, hey, check out this free mix that I've done for somebody. If you find someone on a forum or something looking for a mixing engineer, or even for a friend, and you make it clear up front that this is like a one-off thing for free, it will help you build up a portfolio fast, especially if you know you're building up those skills and you just want to build up a portfolio and maybe get a bit of feedback as well. Also, regarding mixing your own songs, yeah, if you're a musician, that's fine, and if you have a good home studio setup. But firstly, not all mixing engineers are musicians, or they don't write, they don't have a band available, and also they might not have the recording capabilities. You might have a good room set up for mixing, but if you're making sort of poor recordings, if you don't have the facilities for it, you don't have the money for all the gear, then it's going to make bad mixes. Bad recordings make bad mixes, or at least worse mixes than if you got hold of a really good recording. Number 2, you can't find the right material. Again, portfolios are really key, and you can find those multi-tracks around on the internet. But again, if you mix a certain niche genre, like for example, you want to establish yourself as a country mixing engineer, you only want to do country or whatever, it's going to mean you're even more limited. And if you can't find any multi-tracks in that genre, then again, it's just going to be this slow slog of trying to build up your portfolio. Whereas if you had a friend, or if you can find a country artist who just wants a mix done, you can offer it as this kind of special one-time thing, then it could be good for getting a boost in your portfolio early on. And number 3, a test mix for a big client or studio. Now, this is something you could consider even if you have started charging for your mixes. It's possible that you could find yourself in a situation where you're getting offered a job at a recording studio, or for a remote mixing job, something like that. And their process is that they want a test mix for you on their material. Maybe they have a certain song that they keep just to get some reference across sort of multiple engineers that they're considering hiring. So it might not be that you're mixing for a client and they're getting a deliverable out of it that they're going to be making money for. They might just have a certain thing that they like to do a test mix on. There is one situation where I've gone in for a sort of interview like thing at a studio, and they had something up to and they wanted me to spend half an hour or so mixing on it, and that isn't something that they were going to keep and then make money off of. They just wanted to see what I could do. Or if it's an artist you really want to work for and they have a huge project going, and they just want to hear a test mix, you could consider doing one mix for that huge project. You could even send half of it, or you could watermark it, something like that, if you're really not confident in sending that whole thing to them. But if you've built up a good rapport with them and they like your work, they just want to hear your work on their material before they pull the trigger, then it might be worth considering that. Ideally, you'd avoid it, especially if you've already started charging at that point. But if it's a rare opportunity and that's how a certain client or studio works, and you make your normal charges clear so they know that they're getting this one test mix, it can really help build the client's confidence in you. So to sum up, it's not something you want to be doing once you're established. You don't want people taking the mic. But I don't think it's like a blanket statement you should never mix people's music for free, because in these three situations, I think there is some leeway. And if you make sure that you package it as a freebie, as an offer that's not sort of your regular thing, and you don't get too used to it, and you don't let it devalue yourself as an engineer, you make sure that you do charge a fair rate once you do have a few bits of good feedback. So let me know in the comments section below, do you agree with any of these, or do you disagree with all of them? Would you never mix for free? Or have you done it before yourself? It'd be good to know what your experiences are. And for more mixing talk and tutorials, then hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.